Good afternoon, all of you. So,
Good afternoon.
good afternoon. So, where were we in the last class? We started the next unit. Sixth. Okay, we were talking about listening, is it? Okay, I think so. Listening. We were doing listening, isn't it? So, we talked about all the benefits of listening. Okay. Is your previous teacher still there? No? Gurman, your mic is not working today.
No, not working.
You are just texting, so I was just wondering what happened. Okay. And we are talking about three benefits of listening: the academic benefit, while you listen out in the class, what is the benefit you get? And then we have the professional benefit of listening, and the personal benefit of listening. So these are the three benefits of listening. I don't know if we have discussed this, but if we haven't, then we can. And if we have, also we can, because you still don't remember where we are. And now discuss. If listening is that uh, work is done when you listen in the class. Because then you understand what the instructions are, the pointers and the feedback are. So listening in the class actually helps you score better in the test, because you know where the emphasis is on, where the instructor is emphasizing more on. So, and it also helps you to do your assignments better. So all this summed up together is academic benefit of listening. Now coming to the professional benefit is the professional benefit of listening is immense. See, because one thing that is important is listening can make you better leader. So listening and leadership are connected. Now, how can you be a better leader? Because when you listen to others, This reflects, this shows that you respect the other person, you appreciate the other person, and this in turn enhances your relationship. Now, it also boosts or builds up the confidence of the speaker. So, listening doesn't only help you, it also helps the speaker. And in this context, we were also talking about empathetic listening, where the other person, the speaker, simply wants someone to listen to him or her. And the problem gets resolved through the process of listening. Now, listening also challenges your assumption and change your perspective. Most importantly, not all ideas come from within us. So it is important that we listen to others. Maybe we can, maybe there are ideas around, and if we listen, we can click on to some ideas. So listening also improves your understanding, improves the way you make connections between ideas and information. It does a lot of good actually. Listening, not hearing. Listening does a lot of good because when you don't listen, it becomes difficult to get things done effectively. So if you don't listen to your CR, Deep. Deep is the CR of the class. So if you don't listen to him, he might have some important information, important announcement. So, or he might give you tips on how to, or he might help you out in your quiz exam as he promised you during his uh, his election campaign speech. So if you don't listen to Deep, then you can't really answer the questions of the quiz. But on a serious note, when people aren't listening, you can't get things done effectively. So if you don't listen to the instructor, then I can't make you do things in the lab. And eventually what happens is the trust is broken. You somehow start feeling that you never take your job seriously, you never take your things seriously. And this fosters a lot of resentment. So when you find people very discontented and they resent to everything, then you must understand that it's because of the poor listening skills. So listening is, you can connect resentment with listening here. And it is definitely a silent killer of productivity and profit. So if people aren't listening, then it becomes extremely difficult to implement change, implement new rules and regulations in your workplace. So in a professional context, in a workplace, listening is important because if you don't listen, your productivity and profit is hampered. uh, it becomes difficult to implement change or new rules, and there are a lot of resentment among employees. Okay. Now, personal benefit is well, listening uh, can connect the communication loop between the speaker and the receiver. So, uh, the speaker feels good that he or she is being listened to, and this also increases or enhances her self confidence, self esteem. And when the loop is completed, the communication loop, I think you remember the communication loop. Now, when the loop is completed, when the other communicator also listens and responds in the desired way, then uh, this reduces tension. And if you are about to have a head-on emotional collision, this head-on emotional collision can be retracted or resolved through listening. So communication skills help. Communication is enhanced by listening and responding. So it's important that you listen, and when you listen, you also respond if the speaker so desires. Now, know how to listen, and you will profit even from those who talk badly. Did we? Okay, the three A's of active listening. See, there's a fundamental difference between hearing and listening, and that is the attention. Hearing does not require any attention, whereas listening does. So, paying attention to what a speaker is saying requires intentional effort. So, you have to choose to listen. You have to intentionally gear up your attention, your effort to listen, because listening is hard work. And how is it a hard work? Because it is characterized by faster heart action, quicker blood circulation, and a small rise in bodily temperature. I'm not saying this. I'm quoting this from Nicole's book. So when you're listening, you're actually doing some hard work. And that's manifested through your increase or rise in a slight rise in your body temperature, quicker blood circulation, and also faster cardiac movement. So all this suggests that even listening is some kind of a hard work, because you have to deliberately choose, you have to deliberately put up this effort to listen by avoiding all distractions. You might have a lot of distractions. I'm going to ask you about that later. When we talk about the barriers, you're going to tell me what are the barriers. Because you might be facing this. You are on the receiving end all the time from 10 to 4, from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock, you are at the receiving end. So uh, it, it might so happen that you might not be listening to most of the classes. So you tell me, what are your distractions? What distracts you from listening in the classroom? So give me a list of your distractions. So it's very important that we put up a lot of effort in listening, because we need to ward off distraction. And one very prominent distractor is sleep. Post lunch sessions, major distraction is sleep. The afternoon siesta post lunch is a major distraction. So, uh, listening is really tough job. Now, this is an interesting data. Am I audible? Okay. Now, this is a very interesting data. You see, what distinguishes a poor speaker from a good speaker? Now, a poor speaker, sorry, what distinguishes between a poor listener and a good listener? Uh, we get this from this data, from this particular study. See, a typical person can speak 125 words per minute, but a listener can process up to 3 times faster. Now, when the speaker is speaking, say for example, I can speak, if I speak 125 words per minute, now as a listener, you can process 3 times faster than uh, the speed at which I speak. So, after processing 125 words, you still have a lot of time. Now, this is where the difference lies. Now, what does a poor listener do? A poor listener grows very impatient and gets distracted. So, the extra time that the listener has, the extra processing time that the listener has, is not quite competently used by the poor listener. He gets distracted, makes snap judgment, gets impatient, and always finds an excuse for not listening. But what does a good listener do? The good listener, on the other hand, or a very competent listener, what do? They distinguish the key ideas, the key points of the speaker, and mentally summarize what the speaker has told. So, the basic difference between a poor listener and a good listener lies with the way they use the extra processing time. Because uh, listening is a two-way process, and you know how the listening process works is there's the input. I mean, the speaker speaks, and the listener processes that in the mind, and then comes out with an output, with a response. So the way the listeners utilize the extra processing time distinguishes between a poor listener and a good listener. So the good listener uses that extra time to focus on the uh, on the key ideas of the speaker and tries to mentally summarize the entire thing. What is the speaker saying? Whereas the poor listener gets impatient and makes snap judgment. So it's important that you utilize the extra processing time very meaningfully. Now, the second A is attitude, approaching the task of listening with a positive attitude and an open mind. And this makes the act of listening much easier because poor listeners always make snap judgments and try to justify the decision to be inattentive. Now, if you ask why you are inattentive in the class or in a lecture, the poor listener will always have an excuse. They will always pop up with some kind of an excuse, saying, "We know this, we don't really need it. What use is this? We can read it from the textbook, so we don't have to listen in the class." So they can give you ample number of excuses, say, and try to justify why they are being inattentive. Now, what the good listener does is the good listener listens with a positive attitude and an open mind. See, I've always told you that listening is not equal to agreeing. Now, when you listen to me, that doesn't necessarily mean that you agree to whatever I say. But that should not stop you from not listening Only because you don't agree to my views or to my statements should not stop you from listening. So, listening is not agree, but at least listen. You know? Even if you don't agree to your opponent or to other people, but at least listen to them. There is something called the psychological deaf spot, and this impairs our ability to perceive and understand things which are counter to our conviction. So, we also don't listen to something which is counter to our conviction. If we don't believe in something and the other person talks about that, then also we may not listen because we don't agree. Since there are major disagreements between the speaker and the listener prefers not to listen. And that's called psychological deaf spot. When you have certain deaf spot, deaf means where you don't listen, you can't listen. So when you have those deaf spots internally in your mental level, at a mental plane, uh, that's called psychological deaf spot. So you don't prefer to listen because the speaker speaks something which is counter, which is very opposed to what you believe. So you dismiss everything. This could be caused by a very small emotional eruption. If there is an emotional eruption, this can also cause communication efficiency to drop rapidly. Barrier. And one of them is some kind of an emotional eruption, something which triggers in a particular word or phrase, which can trigger some kind of an emotional disturbance within, and then you stop listening. For example, if you, for someone who supports military action as the best response to a terrorist action, will not be able to listen to a speaker who is endorsing negotiation as a better tool. So only because the speaker tells something which is counter to my belief, I don't listen, and that is called psychological deaf spot. So the solution lies in having an open mind, in having a positive attitude and listening patiently and openly. And after that, you might question the speaker. There's no problem with that. You know, we can all have major disagreements on issues, but let's not stop listening to each other. The third A of active listening is adjustment. He goes on to speak. So this is along with what seems like a verbal detour. So, like Alice in the Wonderland follows the rabbit down the hole. I mean, it was a free fall for Alice. No, she did not think for once or did not look back. She simply went ahead and followed the rabbit wherever the rabbit took her. That's the story, Alice in the Wonderland by Louis Carroll. So, similarly, we should all be Alices and must allow ourselves to the free fall and follow the speaker wherever he takes us. So, adjustment. Now, causes of poor listening: not concentrating, listening too hard, jumping to conclusions, focusing on delivery and personal experience, and lack of background information. Now, what I want you to tell me is, what are your experiences as listeners? No, because for the last 12, 13 years, you have been listening throughout throughout your life. So, what are the major distractions that you find that prevents you from listening? Tell me. Out of the list that I have here with me, what are the extra barriers that you find, the other distractions? Most of the time we don't concentrate, we don't listen because we don't really care. We think that we know this, so yeah, yeah, yes. Okay, for good morning, friends. Yeah, in a classroom setup, yes, but yes, okay. Friends are your major distractions, okay. But that's in a classroom setup. What was that? DJ box in a slum? Okay. I think all of you can unmute and speak if you don't have a problem with your microphone. No? No one wants to speak? Hmm. Okay. Okay. When the speaker is not organized. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's a barrier. Okay. Deep, why don't you share your experience as a listener?
Ma'am, any other distraction in a class that also cause poor listening?
What are that's what my question is. What are the other distractions that you face? Gadgets is distraction number one. In an offline classroom mode, friends, yeah, like you said, no, they sit together and then in the last bench, I find students playing tic tac toe or doing something or the other, or and some students also play PUBG. They sit at the back and coolly play PUBG. See, it's a classroom of 70 students. So it's a huge classroom. In the last bench, the students sit and they play PUBG. So that is one reason. Uh, really, but I've seen students playing PUBG. So what do you do if you even if you have your schedule? What do you do? Ah, I thought that's. I'm sorry if I'm trying to be a little biased, but I thought that was the job of the girls. No, even boys do that. I didn't know. I thought
Yes, ma'am, even boys do that.
there are certain gender roles. Even if I teach that in the class, but I still understand that there are certain things that girls do, and there are certain things. So I thought, backbiting is something which the girls do. That was my belief. They are happily talking about someone against someone. You give them a person, and they'll happily do that. But even boys did that. I
One
didn't
of one of that boy is in a college, but in other section.
know. So you talk about against him, something like that.
He actually he actually tells me about any random person in the universe in the class. That so person was doing that. And
How do they have so much of information actually? That is the question. Okay. So, what are the other distractions in the class? I guess in an online mode, gadgets are the greatest distractions because most of you might not be listening in the class, and might be you might be. True. Yes. Other than that, okay. And Achyut says that 1.5 GB data is a major problem for the listen. Uh, speakers, vocal, tonal quality, yeah. Yeah, really, yes. Yeah, there are some voices which are very pleasing and which you would like to listen to, and there are some voices which might seem very harsh. Was that what you meant? Oh, okay. What are the other distractions? And girls are not there in the class today. They've all bunked the class. They all
Yes, ma'am.
enthusiastically. Oh, girls have bunked the class today. Why?
And the
Yeah.
leader is Anisha.
Okay. What about other girls? See, she's back. Yeah.
One has replied.
Okay. Yeah, Upasana, what happened to your friends? I can't see any of them. By the way, I don't find much girls talking in the class. The boys are too dominating, I guess.
Sonatan Patra.
Why is everyone after Sanatan? Yes, Sanatan, tell me, who are your major distractions in the class? Yes. Yeah, Sanatan. Where did he go? He vanished? He left? Who are the major distractions, Sanatan, for you in the class?
Ma'am, I don't know.
No, you don't know. Some
No,
of them
ma'am.
hail you as a hero. You are a. They say you are an epic YouTuber. You have lot many subscribers. Who's Bullet now? My God. Really? Oh, okay. Sanatan. Great, great. Okay. Where are the girls? Is she?
Ma'am, don't know.
How come you don't know?
I don't know, ma'am.
No, because you're the agony uncle, no? Agony aunt of the class. So everyone, you know about everyone. I mean, especially girls.
No, ma'am, I don't know.
No.
Ma'am, she keeps the checklist in the building right now, but he's not telling us.
Oh, okay. So tell me some other distractions except Sanatan's bike, bullet, whatever.
Ma'am, what type of distraction? I'm not getting, ma'am.
What disturbs you in the class? What compels you not to listen in the class?
No, ma'am, I listen in every class, ma'am.
Oh, you listen in every class.
Yes,
ते
ma'am.
झूठ बोला ना.
Srinath is always there. Srinath is always there to tell about Ishi and Sanatan. You three are best friends or what? He says you don't attend any class. Your best friends,
Only I attend CTC class.
other class you don't attend.
And our attendance will be 100% in CTC class, otherwise below 50.
You're a class of all genius students. All of you are going to
No,
get
ma'am, I
90.
attend every class, ma'am. Yesterday only I was not able to attend the class, ma'am.
Oh, so you attend all classes and you also listen to all the classes.
Yes,
Great.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you don't have any listening issues. Uh,
Yes, ma'am.
how come Sanatan? You know what he was watching,
Because he told me.
and now he's telling me that. So Ishi is either lying. He
No,
doesn't.
ma'am. Yesterday I was not able to join the class, ma'am, because everyone are watching Lucifer, ma'am. Not only me. Sanatan also he was watching.
So all the class decides that today we are going to watch Money Heist. Then you go watch Money Heist. Then you say,
That is already completed, ma'am. Waiting for the new season.
"Wow." So I mean, where do you get the time? Because from 10 to 4 you have class. So is
Only
Before
we
the
join the class, then
money
we
has
watch.
class in since 1 year ago.
what's
Money
another?
has was released more than 1 year ago, no?
So all of you have watched that.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. These all things already over before
Hmm.
1 year, I think. After board exam, ma'am, only we have started watching all these things and completed.
Very good. सुलझे हुए हो तुम लोग बंदे. बढ़िया. And Sanatan, how's your YouTube going?
I'm going well.
How many subscribers you have? All your
I'm
classmates.
200. I know, man. I'm 200.
Oh, that's a good number, no? Okay.
Ma'am,
So,
Sanatan's aim is to become a bike mechanic, ma'am. That's why he's working upon it, so not getting time to make videos.
so why is he studying computer science and engineering?
I mean,
When you want to add some technology to that bike, that's why he is studying computer
bike na
science.
कौन वे?
He said concept bikes.
Oh, the second Elon Musk, huh? Okay. See, everyone is after Sanatan.
Ma'am, like you, if Sanatan makes rocket, then the rocket will target to Sanatan only, ma'am. Like that, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Good, good, good. Sanatan, so you get a lot of compliments from your friends in the class. And I guess they must be also encouraging you a lot.
Only in this class stream. After class,
Why after that you don't talk to him?
No, ma'am.
no, we talk, ma'am.
Oh, but you don't encourage him.
No, ma'am. After class, बार-बार का हम लोग compliment देते हैं.
Acha. That's great, Sanatan. So you have a lot of friends around. And I think, Sanatan, your greatest distraction are your friends, Srinath and Ishi.
No, ma'am. I mean, not me and Sanatan. There is a girl, ma'am. Sanatan knows.
In the class? In your class?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So she's Sanatan's distraction.
No,
Yes,
man.
ma'am.
Probably.
Sanatan and she best
Ah,
friend. Everyone knows, ma'am. Everyone knows.
nice, nice. हाँ. कुछ भी बोल.
Okay. And what about you, Ishi?
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
every girl
I
is
am no
Sanatan.
distraction. I
ma'am,
am a
every girl is a
concentrated person.
distraction for Issy.
Huh?
No, ma'am.
Every girl is a
No,
distraction for
ma'am.
Issy.
Ma'am, I am not distracted by anyone.
Don't say.
चालू.
Ma'am, he himself distract every student in his class while he be distracted.
ହଁ ତତେ ତ ମୁଁ ନାଁ ନେଇକି କରିଥିଲି ନା distract.
हिंदी
Greatest
बोल.
distractor, huh? Okay. Okay, so lot of distractors in the class. By the way, what is your like? You know, how many girls are there in the class? Two or three? Maybe two or three. I think.
16, I think.
Huh?
16, 11, 12 something.
Srinath, don't tell me 11, 12. You know the exact number of girls. You must be keeping a count every day. Aji kiya is la kiya is nahi.
Nah,
Kam
ma'am,
pakar sakte ho sab.
ମୁଁ ସେମିତିଆ ନୁହଁ.
ତମେ ଇଶିର ଆସିଷ୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ ନୁହ କି? ଇଶି ଆଜି କହିବ ଆଜି କେତେ ଜଣ ଆସିଥିଲେ and then you keep a
ନାଇଁ
count
ମୁଁ
of it.
କିଛି କାହାର କାଉଣ୍ଟ ରଖେନି, ମୁଁ ବାସ୍ କ୍ଲାସ ଜଏନ୍ କରିଦିଏ, ତାପରେ ମୋ କାମ ମୁଁ କରେ। ମୁଁ ଆଉ କ୍ଲାସ ସହିତ ଏତେ ମାନେ କଣ୍ଟାକ୍ଟ ରହେନି, ବାସ୍ 3-4 ଜଣ ମୋ ସାଙ୍ଗ ଯୋଉମାନେ ସେତିକି ସହିତ କଥା ହୁଏ।
ମୋର
ପୁରା
ବି
ଜଣା
ସେମ୍.
ପଡୁଛି।
ଆମେ ବି ସେମ୍.
ଜଣା ପଡୁଛି ଇଶି।
ସନାତନ ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ଜାଣିଛି ଭଲ
ବାକି
ସେ.
ମାମ ସବୁ ଗ୍ରୁପ ରେ ବାସ୍ ଖାଲି
ଆଣ୍ଟ
ହାय ହ୍ୟାଲୋ ଏମିତି କଣ।
ହଁ so you're the agony aunt ତମ ପାଖରେ ସବୁ ହିସାବ ବୋଲି ମୁଁ ଶୁଣିଲି you have all the
No ma'am, no ma'am,
information
no
about
ma'am.
attending class who's not okay so some of the causes of poor listening is not concentrating number one uh, number two is when you're trying to listen too hard like Deep said, that when the speaker is not organized enough and tries to bring in a lot of things. Alek Parida, you're the lone wolf of the class. Alek Parida is so disappointed that none of the girls speak to him. It's an art, Alek.
सब
Okay.
धोखेबाज है मैम, सब धोखेबाज.
इश नहीं अलेक you still have a long way to go अभी से इतना frustrated मत हो and Upasana already responded to you that you were talking to her
नो मैम.
no oh क्या कर सकते हैं अब you have 50 boys and 60 girls in the class तो क्या कर सकते हैं Let's-
हाँ तेरे को सब पता है.
oh yeah Akanksha is there only 12 is great Akanksha so all of you must be having a gala time no for this okay Yeah, Gurman. Ishi is the agony aunt of the class. Agony aunt is, you know, the concept of an agony aunt. Agony aunt are those counselors, you know, who talk about, who resolve or who can counsel you regarding relationship issues. So Ishi is the agony aunt
तो
of
फिर वो सक्सेसफुल नहीं होगा ना.
no, Srinath. Ishi is the agony aunt of the class. So all of you, please consult him.
गया रिलेशनशिप गया.
Yes, so he can help you out because he's a very objective person. He doesn't favor the girls, neither the boys. So he can be a very objective counselor. So all of you, like Gurman and Alek, now if you charge money, Ishi, no one's going to come to you. They're not going to come to you. So all of you can consult Ishi. He has a lot of information about the girls of your class. He knows why a particular girl is not coming to the class and everything.
No ma'am, I barely talk to girls from in my class. You can ask to everyone, ma'am.
So you can consult Ishi and he can help you out. Isn't it, Ishi? He knows
No,
about everything.
ma'am. No, ma'am. I just only talked to Srinath, Sanatan. That's it, ma'am. And
Oh,
Abhishas.
Ah, so they might be your khabri, no? They will inform you.
No, no, not like that, ma'am. Actually, all the new information are with Deep, ma'am.
He's
Yes,
a PR. He's in a
Deep,
very
ma'am.
talented boy.
yes, all of you
class
elected him.
topper, class topper Deep Cholia.
So so he's elected. So but you can be a good counselor. So uh, anyways, so these are some of the causes of poor listening, not concentrating and listening too hard. When the speaker is, like Deep said, is not organized, so you tend to listen very deeply. You tend to listen very hard, word by word, phrase by phrase, and then you don't get the point. So even if you listen too hard, that also becomes a problem because then you don't understand the idea, the key idea, and quickly jumping to conclusion. Ah, we know what he's saying or what she's saying. So you jump to the conclusion immediately. And then you focus on the delivery and personal experience. Uh, so you don't focus much on the content as to what the speaker is saying, but rather on how the speaker is saying, what is the speaker wearing, how is his hairstyle, and all this. So when you go on to judge all this, to focus on all this, then you don't listen to the content. So that is also one of the causes of poor listening. And then you gave me a series of causes for, or a list of distractions. And Ishi has too many. He has a complete list of distractions. He isn't telling me, but then he might have. And the last one is lack of background information. So, what I want you to do is tell me how lack of background information causes. What is this, Ale? Your Telegram channel? You still write blogs also? Alec is a good writer. You know that? You should read his book. So, uh, so what I'm saying is lack of background information. Uh, Now, I want you to tell me in the next class how lack of background information is different. And I'll give you a situation. I'll give you the situation and you find out, do some research and tell me how lack of background information is a cause of uh, poor listening or is a barrier. Now, all of you know where Glasgow is? Glasgow? Do you know where Glasgow is? No, it's in
Scotland.
Scotland. Yeah, yes, Scotland. So there's this gentleman who wants to go to the University of Glasgow. Please listen to this very carefully. And he doesn't know the direction. So there's an elderly lady who's passing by, and he stops her and asks her for the direction to the University of Glasgow. So this man asks, "Where's the university? I need to go to the University of Glasgow." So the elderly lady points out at a direction and says, "That's the university." And then she immediately adds, "It's going to rain." She says, "That's the university and it's going to rain." My question is, why did she say it's going to rain? Because it was difficult for the man to understand why she said it's going to rain. Now, he was asking for direction to the University of Glasgow. Now, the elderly woman did tell him the direction, pointed to a particular direction, and then said, "That's the university, and it's going to rain." Now, when she said it's going to rain, this gentleman could not decipher the meaning of that. Why? What is the reason? So that's my question. So in the next class, I want you to do some research and come and tell me. No, others, it's not out of context. Come and tell me why he could not really decipher the meaning of "it's going to rain." So in the next class, you're going to tell me this. All of you are 007 in the class or what? Bond, huh? James Bond. You all see codified language. Hmm. Yeah. What's Agent Vinod? So I think all of you must also be Bond fans, isn't it? James Bond fan? You are? No? Yeah. Yes, Ishi. You're a legend. Okay. So in the next class, you have to tell me why did she say it's going to rain and what was the reason that the man could not understand this? University of Glasgow. Okay, so I'll see you in the next class. Goodbye and enjoy your Sunday.